What if I told you that the most painful betrayal isn't just being left, it's watching them move on as if you never mattered? No pause, no regret, no second thoughts. Just a clean break into someone else's arms. It's brutal, it's unfair, and worst of all, it feels like they never loved you at all. But what if I told you that what you're seeing isn't the full story? What if I told you that their quick rebound isn't a sign of strength, but of fear? You see, people with avoidant attachment don't leave because they stop caring. They leave because caring terrifies them. As Carl Jung once said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And that's exactly what's happening here. Instead of dealing with the emotions of loss, your avoidant ex is running straight into someone new. It's not about you. It's about escaping themselves. But let's be honest, that doesn't make it hurt any less. Watching them replace you so quickly can feel like a punch to the gut. It makes you question everything. Did they ever love me? Was I just a placeholder? But here's what you need to understand. Avoidants don't process breakups the way most people do. They don't sit in their emotions. They don't reflect. They distract. They suppress. They run. And a rebound? That's just another escape route. Remember what Steve Jobs said. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. Right now, it might seem like they're happy, like they've upgraded, like you were never important. But that's just the surface. Avoidants push people away. But the fear of intimacy doesn't disappear just because they found someone new. It follows them. It sabotages them. And in time, they'll find themselves in the same cycle all over again. But here's the real question. Why are you still focusing on them? The truth is, every moment you spend analyzing their new relationship is a moment you steal from your own healing. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Their actions don't define your worth. Their choices don't dictate your value. And their inability to stay doesn't mean you're unworthy of love. It just means they weren't capable of giving it. So, what's the move? Do you wait, hoping they realize their mistake? Do you analyze every detail of their rebound, searching for cracks in the facade? No. You do something far more powerful. You shift your focus back to yourself. Because nothing will confuse an avoidant more than someone who no longer plays their game. Nothing will shake them more than realizing the person they left isn't waiting in the shadows, but thriving in the light. Maya Angelou once said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Your avoidant ex just showed you everything you need to know. They run. They avoid. They struggle with real intimacy. And unless they do the deep work, their pattern won't change. But you? You don't have to repeat your pattern. You can heal. You can grow. You can use this moment not as proof of your unworthiness, but as the turning point where you reclaim your power. As you navigate your own feelings about this situation, it's essential to remember that their quick transition doesn't diminish your worth or the love you shared. You are not defined by their choices. Instead, it's an opportunity for you to reflect on your own journey and growth. Let this be a reminder that your happiness and self-worth come from within, not from how they choose to cope. So, here's a mantra for you. I am worthy of love that is true and lasting, and I choose to focus on my own growth and healing. I invite you to comment this mantra below and affirm your commitment to yourself. If you find this video insightful and empowering, don't forget to like it, subscribe to Ace Wisdom, and share it with others who might need this reminder. Let's create a community where we support each other in reclaiming our power and embracing our worth. Stick around until the end as we dive deeper into understanding avoidant behaviors and how you can navigate your own path toward healing and self-discovery. Ace Wisdom presents, What if Avoidant X is seeing someone right after leaving? Here's why. Reason number 1. They're not actually moving on. They're just distracting themselves. At first glance, it looks like your avoidant ex has effortlessly replaced you. One day, they're with you. The next, they're in someone else's arms, posting pictures, going on dates, acting as if the relationship you had never even existed. It feels personal. It feels cruel. But here's the truth. This isn't about moving on. It's about avoidance. Avoidants don't process emotions the way most people do. When faced with loss, they don't sit in their feelings, reflect or grieve. Instead, they suppress. They push everything down, pretending it doesn't exist. And what's the easiest way to avoid pain? Distraction. A new person, a new relationship, a new source of validation. It all serves one purpose: to keep them from facing the emotional discomfort of a breakup. Think about it like this. If you break a bone, but instead of treating it, you just take painkillers and keep running, does that mean you're healed? No. It just means you're numbing the pain. That's exactly what's happening here. Their new relationship isn't about genuine love or connection. It's about avoiding the emotions they refuse to deal with. And as Sigmund Freud once said, unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. This is why so many avoidants find themselves in a cycle of failed relationships. They never truly process what went wrong in the last one. They just jump to the next, carrying the same fears, the same wounds, the same emotional walls. And sooner or later, those walls will create distance in their new relationship too. Because the issue was never about you. It was always about them. But here's the part most people don't realize. Just because they're distracting themselves doesn't mean they're unaffected. The feelings don't disappear, they just get buried. And buried emotions have a way of resurfacing when you least expect them. So while they may look happy now, it's only a matter of time before reality catches up with them. As Bruce Lee once said, you cannot force the water to be still, but if you let it settle, the answer becomes clear. Their emotions will settle eventually, and when they do, they'll have to face the truth they've been running from. So, while it might seem like they've moved on effortlessly, understand that what you're seeing is an illusion. They're not healed. They're not growing. They're just delaying the inevitable. And the best thing you can do, stop watching their distraction and start focusing on your own healing. Because unlike them, you have the courage to face your emotions head-on. Reason number 2. Their new relationship is built on rebound energy, not real connection. It's easy to look at your avoidant ex's new relationship and assume they've found something better, something deeper. But here's the truth. Most rebound relationships aren't built on love. They're built on avoidance, loneliness, and the need to fill a void. And when a relationship starts from a place of desperation, it's only a matter of time before it falls apart. A rebound isn't about the new person. It's about escaping the emotions they refuse to face. Your avoidant ex isn't suddenly healed, emotionally available, or ready for real intimacy just because they found someone new. They're still the same person, carrying the same fears, the same patterns, and the same inability to handle closeness. And as time passes, those patterns will resurface, just like they did with you. As Albert Einstein once said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. At first, everything in a rebound feels exciting. There's no history, no baggage, no expectations. It's fresh, it's fun, and most importantly, it's distracting. But real relationships aren't just about the honeymoon phase. They require vulnerability, trust, and emotional depth. Things avoidants struggle with the most. So what happens when the excitement fades? When reality sets in? When the same emotional distance that ended your relationship starts creeping into their new one? This is why so many rebounds crash and burn. Because they weren't built on real connection. They were built on the fear of being alone. And as Tony Robbins famously said, the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. If your avoidant ex is running from themselves instead of facing their issues, their new relationship won't magically fix them. It will only be another temporary escape. So, instead of torturing yourself by watching their highlight reel, remind yourself of this. They haven't upgraded. They haven't moved on in a healthy way. They've just found another distraction. And while they're busy running, you have an opportunity to do something more powerful, heal, grow, and build a life where you are no longer the one being avoided. Reason number 3. They're trying to prove something to you and to themselves. Have you ever noticed how quickly they made their new relationship public? The Instagram posts, the sudden happiness, the subtle or not so subtle attempts to show the world that they've moved on. If your avoidant ex is parading their new partner around like a trophy, it's not because they're in love. It's because they're trying to send a message. And that message is just as much for themselves as it is for you. Avoidants don't just run from emotions, they run from accountability. Instead of sitting with the discomfort of a breakup, instead of reflecting on their role in the relationship's failure, they'd rather create a new narrative, one where they're the ones who are fine, thriving, and totally unaffected. As Mark Twain once said, never tell the truth to people who are not worthy of it. And in this case, their truth is a carefully crafted illusion designed to keep them from facing what's really going on inside. Think about it. If they were truly happy and at peace, why would they need to prove anything? Why the sudden urge to flaunt their new relationship? People who are genuinely content don't seek validation from others. But avoidants? They need reassurance, not just from their new partner, but from you. They want you to see it. They want you to wonder. Because if you react, if you show even the slightest sign of pain, it confirms to them that they still have power over you. But here's the twist. This isn't a sign of strength. It's a sign of insecurity. Confident, emotionally stable people don't rush into new relationships just to make a statement. They take time to heal. They process. They grow. But an avoidant? They can't sit still long enough to do any of that. And deep down, they know it. As Shakespeare once wrote, "The lady doth protest too much, methinks." The louder they boast about moving on, the more likely it is that they're actually struggling in silence. So, the next time you catch yourself overanalyzing their social media or wondering if they've truly forgotten you, remember this. Their new relationship isn't about love. It's about proving a point. And the most powerful thing you can do? Stop playing into their game. When you stop reacting, when you detach, when you shift your focus back to your own growth, that's when you truly win. Reason number 4. They're running from guilt, not love. What if I told you that your avoidant ex isn't as carefree as they seem? That behind the smiles, the new relationship, and the fresh start, there's something they're desperately trying to escape. That something is guilt. And instead of facing it, they're running straight into the arms of someone else. Avoidants don't handle emotional responsibility well. They struggle to acknowledge the pain they cause others, because doing so would force them to confront something terrifying: their own flaws. As the philosopher Socrates once said, the unexamined life is not worth living. But avoidants? They'd rather do anything than examine themselves. They don't want to think about how they hurt you, how they abandoned something real, or how their fears ruined a relationship that could have lasted. Instead, they bury the guilt under a new romance, hoping it will make everything disappear. And here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes their new relationship isn't just about distraction. It's about justification. If they can convince themselves that they've moved on and found happiness elsewhere, then they don't have to feel bad about what they did to you. If they can rewrite the story so that leaving was the right decision, then they don't have to face the fact that they may have made a mistake. It's emotional self-preservation at its finest. But guilt doesn't just go away. It lingers, even in the background. No matter how hard they try to suppress it, moments of silence will come. Late at night, in between distractions, when their mind is left with nothing but itself. That's when the thoughts creep in. That's when the what-ifs start to whisper. And as Leonardo da Vinci once said, "A well-spent day brings happy sleep, but a life spent in fear leaves a restless soul." Their avoidance may delay the guilt, but it won't erase it. So while it may seem like they've escaped unscathed, understand this. They're not running towards something better. They're running away from the weight of their own choices. And the more you focus on your healing instead of their rebound, the more that weight will start to catch up with them. Reason number 5. Their avoidant nature will catch up with them. Again. You might be looking at their new relationship and thinking, what if they've changed? What if they're finally giving this new person what they couldn't give me? But here's the hard truth. Avoidants don't just wake up one day and magically become emotionally available. Their patterns follow them wherever they go. Avoidant attachment isn't about who they're with. It's about how they function in relationships. They crave closeness, but as soon as they get too close, they feel suffocated. They fear abandonment, but they also fear intimacy. So they push people away, even when they don't consciously realize they're doing it. As the great psychologist Carl Rogers said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." But avoidants don't accept themselves. They don't face their wounds. They don't heal. Instead, they repeat the same cycles with different people. Think back to how your relationship with them started. In the beginning, everything felt effortless, right? There was excitement, passion, maybe even an illusion of deep emotional connection. But over time, the distance grew. The push and pull dynamic became exhausting. Their inability to communicate, to be vulnerable, to truly let you in, it all started to unravel. And guess what? It's going to happen in their new relationship too. Because here's what most people forget. Who they are with someone new doesn't erase who they are at their core. The same triggers, the same fears, the same avoidant instincts. They don't disappear just because they've found a new person to entertain them. As the saying goes, wherever you go, there you are. If they didn't do the deep work to change, then they're just replaying the same story with a different cast. So while it might seem like their new relationship is perfect right now, understand this. Avoidants always return to their patterns. The same emotional unavailability that hurt you will eventually surface with their new partner. And when it does, you won't be the one dealing with it. You'll be too busy healing, growing, and becoming the version of yourself that doesn't settle for breadcrumbs. The reason number 6. They think you'll always be there until you're not. One of the biggest reasons your avoidant ex jumped into a new relationship so quickly is because deep down, they believe you'll still be there. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. They assume that no matter what they do, no matter how they left, you'll still think about them, still check in, still leave the door open, just in case they ever decide to come back. Avoidants thrive on emotional distance, but they also crave emotional security. They push people away, yet they want to know those same people still care. That's why they don't always completely cut ties. They leave breadcrumbs, little signs that keep you emotionally invested while they explore something new. And as long as they feel like you're waiting in the background, they don't have to fully face the loss of you. But here's what they don't realize. You are changing. Every day that passes, you're healing, you're learning, you're growing. And one day they'll look back, expecting you to be right where they left you, only to find that you've moved on. As the legendary Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. They showed you, and now you're finally believing it. That moment will come. The day they send a casual hope you're doing well message. The moment they realize their rebound isn't fulfilling them the way they thought. The second they start reminiscing about the love, patience, and depth you gave them. And when they reach out, expecting the same old version of you. They'll be met with silence, or worse, indifference. And that's when it will hit them. They lost you for real. Not because you begged, not because you fought for them, but because you chose yourself over their endless cycles of avoidance. That's the moment they'll feel the weight of their own decisions, and by then, it will be too late. So the real question isn't why they moved on so fast. It's why you should care. The truth is you don't need to. Because while they're running in circles, you're walking forward. And nothing is more powerful than the person they once took for granted, finally realizing their own worth. Reason number 7. They're not experiencing real happiness, just temporary relief. Right now, it may look like your avoidant ex is living their best life. They're smiling, going on dates, acting as if the breakup never affected them. But here's the reality. What you're seeing isn't true happiness. It's temporary relief. And there's a big difference between the two. Avoidants don't handle emotional discomfort well. Instead of sitting with their feelings and processing them, they run. And their new relationship? It's just another escape. A quick fix. A way to keep themselves distracted from the thoughts and emotions they don't want to face. But as psychologist Carl Jung once said, what you resist persists. No matter how hard they try to mask their pain with new excitement, their unresolved wounds will follow them. Think about it like this. If someone's drowning and they grab onto a floating piece of wood, they might feel safe for a while. But that doesn't mean they've learned how to swim. They're just delaying the inevitable. That's exactly what your avoidant ex is doing. Their new relationship isn't built on deep emotional growth. It's built on avoidance. And once the honeymoon phase fades, they'll be left with the same fears, the same issues, and the same inability to form real intimacy. True happiness doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from facing it, healing from it, and growing beyond it. But that takes work. It takes self-awareness. And unless your avoidant ex has done that inner work, which, let's be honest, rushing into a new relationship suggests they haven't, then their so-called happiness is nothing more than a temporary illusion. As philosopher Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And right now, their reaction isn't healing, it's avoidance. So, while they might look like they've won, remember this. Happiness that comes from running away never lasts. The real win is focusing on yourself, doing the work they refuse to do, and finding the kind of peace that doesn't need a distraction to exist. Because when their illusion fades, you'll be the one who's truly moved on. As we wrap up this exploration of what it means when your avoidant ex jumps into a new relationship right after leaving, it's crucial to remember this. Their actions are a reflection of their struggles, not your worth. You've learned that their swift transition isn't a sign of healing, but rather a way to escape their emotions and avoid accountability. They may think they've found happiness, but in reality, they're merely delaying the inevitable reckoning that will come when the temporary relief wears off. So, what does this mean for you? It means it's time to reclaim your power. You don't have to sit in the shadows, watching them craft a narrative that doesn't include you. Instead, focus on your own journey, your healing, your growth, and your future. Remember the wisdom of Rainer Maria Rilke. The only journey is the one within. Prioritize yourself and invest in your emotional well-being. If you found this video helpful and insightful, I encourage you to take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment below. Share your thoughts on how you're focusing on your own healing and personal growth. Let's build a community where we empower each other to rise above the challenges of past relationships. Join the Ace Wisdom family and tap that notification bell so you won't miss out on future videos packed with valuable insights and strategies for navigating love and relationships. Together, let's turn our experiences into wisdom and ensure that we never settle for less than we deserve. Thank you for watching, and remember, your journey to self-discovery and empowerment is just beginning. Embrace it.